Welcome to the Travel Agent Podcast. I'm your host, Aylin Blanco. I interview successful industry professionals and share my personal journey to becoming a travel agent. The show is for aspiring travel agents and travel professionals at every level. My mission is to uncover the universal keys to thrive in this business. Join me as I take a closer look into the life of a travel agent. Hello, and welcome to the Travel Agent Podcast. First, I'd like to point out, if you are not already in the Travel Agent Building a Thriving Business Facebook group, come join us. The link is going to be below. We are in there working together, working through all of this COVID-19 crisis stuff together. And it's just a really awesome community. So come join us. The reason I bring that up is because today's episode is a guest that came into the group who talked about the CARES Act and the different opportunities to be able to keep your business going and funded. So she's going to go over the three options that are available and talk about how your local bank might be also helpful in getting you the funds to get through this. So without further ado, Chelsea Monk.
CARES Act was passed about a week and a half ago. There's three big components to it. The first one that I want to talk about is the $1,200 stimulus that people are talking about. So this is going out to individuals, and this is specifically for people who file individual tax returns. This is not business related. The way that you get it is you have to be current on your tax filings. What current means is you have to have at least filed 2018. If you filed 2019 and they've processed it, they'll go based on that. So, for example, a married couple that had a tax liability that, they didn't, have negative tax, basically, they'll get $2,400. If they have a child born in 2019 and they have filed their tax return for 2019 and it's been processed, and they get $500 for that. So what this is an advance on a new credit that they made for your 2020 tax return. You're not going to have to pay this back if they overpay you. If you don't get to claim it now with an advance, then you get to claim it when you file your 2020 tax return. So either way, you're going to get the money. It's just, if you're needing it right now, you can go ahead and make sure that you're filed and you're current, and they will get you the advance. So the way that they're doing this is, if you received a refund in the last return they processed, they're going to put the money in that bank account. If they don't have a bank account for you, they're going to set up a portal online. They have not set it up yet. There have been companies that I have seen that have made a portal where you basically make a dummy tax return to be able to put your information in there. I wouldn't use those yet because they haven't been verified that this is the way that they want it done. But there will be a portal that you can use to put in your direct deposit information, and they'll deposit if you're current on your tax returns. If you don't put your information in that portal and you're current on your tax returns and do the advance, then they will mail you a check to whatever address they have on record. So make sure you're current on your returns so that you can get your advance, especially right now if you're hurting, which I'm willing to bet that many in the travel industry are hurting pretty bad right now. Okay, so then the other two components are two loans that they have created through the SBA. These are for small businesses. You have to be a business owner as of the end of January to qualify. So if you got laid off from work in February and you decided you wanted to start a business in February of this year, you do not qualify. It has to have been as of the end of January 2020. So the first one, it's a type 7A loan is what they call it, and it's the PPP loan, or the Paycheck Protection Program loan. What this is they take your amount that you have paid in payroll to employees, and they multiply the average monthly times 2.5, and then they will loan you that. If you spend it on qualified expenses, which would be payroll, business rent, business utilities, not house rent, not house utilities, then they will forgive that loan. Anything you spend on that, they will forgive, and it's not income. Normally when a loan is forgiven, it's income. This time it is not. They are doing everything they can to try to encourage people to keep people employed. But if you don't have employees, and this is something that's super unclear, and I went and looked at it this morning, and to me it's still a little bit unclear. What do you do if you don't have employees, if you're just a sole prop working in your home or an independent contractor? My understanding is that they're going to look at your average monthly profit based on your P&L. So have a current P&L if you're going to apply for this. The way you apply for a PPP loan or a Type 7A loan is through your bank. You go to your bank, not the SBA. A lot of the big national banks have reached their data cap, or they've gotten a lot of people applying. There are some banks that require you to have a business checking, a business credit card, and a business line of credit before they will even entertain giving you money. So if you have a business relationship with a small local bank, those folks are spitting these applications out super fast. I saw someone this morning that helped someone apply on Thursday, and they already got approved today from a small business, from a small town bank, not a big one. So if you have a business relationship with someone like that, take advantage of that. Give them a call. Let's see. So the other side of the loans is the EIDL, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. And this is the one that comes with the $10,000 that so many people are talking about. So the EIDL means that you have had some kind of revenue hit from what has happened. If you've been doing travel planning for any amount of time, I can guarantee you've had a revenue hit lately because of everything being shut down and people not really knowing when they're going to get to travel again. So, even if you're having people come in and say, okay, I want to plan something in November when I know this is all going to be gone, you're still not having money, right? So you have been hit. You definitely qualify on this if you've been hit. So what this is, this loan is not forgivable, but it comes with an up to $10,000 advance. So what that is when you apply, you can say, I would like to be considered for an advance. And what this is it's a grant. With a grant, it does not have to be paid back, but you do need to be prepared to prove what you spend it on. You have to be prepared to prove that you spend it on payroll for yourself, or if you have employees, not contractors. This is still in the works. But so far, they're saying not spending it on contractors. Business utilities, business rent. If there is, and this one's unclear too on what exactly they mean, but if there is an obligation, a business obligation that you have that you were anticipating being able to pay based on your projected revenue stream that you now cannot pay because your revenue is gone, then you can pay that. This is really unclear. So for right now, I would say go with the clear ones of payroll, business utilities, business rent, things like that. So the up to 10K, they released guidance yesterday that this is essentially going to be 1,000 per employee that you have up to 10. So a lot of sole props, my question is, okay, does that, if they don't have any employees, does the sole prop count as an employee? I don't know. If there's a partnership that's not incorporated, is it, per partner? I don't know. I'm telling people to apply if they need it and just see what happens, see how they respond to this. This is also new, and normally, things like this are thought through and the answers have already come out whenever we see the law, but this was just like ramrodded through. So like, we don't know what's going on, and they're giving new guidance all the time. Like the stuff that I learned last week, some of it's already dated. So, I mean, by the time we end this podcast, there may be something else that changes. So, but yeah. So if you're looking to apply for a loan, I would work with someone and like talk to them about your situation. Say, this is what I have going on. Which loan do you think is best for me? They have also expanded unemployment benefits so that independent contractors and freelancers can apply if they have been economically impacted. So that could be another consideration as well. So there are things that can be done to keep your business going, to make sure you still have cash flowing so that you can pay your bills and keep your lights on and try to keep your business going. The big thing that they're trying to do in all this basically is just make sure that the economic impact is as small as possible. And the way they're doing that is making sure business owners have money to keep moving. So if you need money, they're trying to help you stay in business.
So as far as having a P&L and keeping, I keep hearing over and over, it's just making sure that your books are in order and correct, because if you apply to any of these, that they're going to ask for that information. So what is your advice if they haven't had it together, and what would be some options to get it together right now?
You can do something as simple as just opening up a spreadsheet and putting stuff in a spreadsheet if you don't have a lot of activity. If you do have a lot of activity or you don't feel comfortable using a spreadsheet, you can use like FreshBooks or something inexpensive online. And you can just put it all in there and get everything together. But you need to have something to present to people. So if you haven't been getting that together, go ahead and start, because even if you don't need that loan today, you may need it in a few weeks. So get your stuff together so that when you need it, it is ready. And don't be afraid to go ahead and start talking to a banker and figuring out what they're going to want, because you want to be prepared and you want to have your name on a list somewhere, because this money is going fast.
Awesome. So I know you and you've been on my podcast before, but can you just give them a brief breakdown of why you are the tax pro that you are?
Sure. So when I was born, when I was a junior in high school, I had a spare elective that I needed a class to fill it. And the counselor put me in an accounting class and I fell in love with it. So I did accounting for 2 years in high school. And then I went to college and I got my MBA. I graduated with the BBA, MBA all together in 4.5 years. And I worked as a controller for 13 years, I believe it was. And then I started my own business back in 2017. So I've been around a while. I've gotten a lot of education. I get like 70 hours of continuing education every year. So basically every like 3 or 4 years, I basically re-get my MBA. But I got my enrolled agent designation a couple years ago, and I stay current on tax stuff as best I can. I stay current on accounting stuff as best I can, because there's things that change. The Trump tax bill a few years ago, that changed how we do a lot of things. So I try to stay on top of all of that.
Awesome. Well, I just wanted them to get a better understanding of who you are and why I brought you on today to do the live, because I've just been watching you and hearing all the things that you're saying. And there's just a lot of people talking about lots of things. And because it's changing every day and some people really don't know what's going on, they're just trying to, whatever. I wanted to make sure that I had someone who is a professional, who is an expert, come on and tell you guys the truth about what's going on. And I'm not sure, you're probably swamped, but if anybody, has any questions she is in the group?
Right now, my goal is to help everybody that needs SBA stuff that I can. I've basically put my tax returns on hiatus for now to try to help everybody get funding that they need. So like all I've been doing this past 3 or 4 days is bookkeeping, getting people caught up. So that's really important. Keeping the economy going is really important. And the way that we do that is keeping the small businesses going. So yeah.
Agreed. Well, thank you again so much for coming on. I applied and didn't know what I was doing, so I also really wanted to hear this information too. So it's good to hear that, you know, I'm doing all the right things, and if you guys aren't doing the right things, now is the time to start doing it, get it together, so that, you know, when we're on the other side of this and everybody's ready to travel again, that we made it. It. So
one thing I want to mention, if you're going to apply for something through the SBA, go to sba.gov, not sba.com. There is a spoof site out there that steals your information. Make sure anything you apply for is at a .gov.
Thank you. That's important.
Very.
Let's all have fun and get through this together. Thank you for joining the Travel Agent Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. Visit thetravelagentpodcast.com for more information about today's episode and other travel agent resources. Be sure to tune in every Thursday for new episodes. Until next time, continue to build a travel business you love.